Hello and welcome to the very first Woolly Badger podcast. I am Jacki. I was about to say otherwise known as the Woolly Badger, but in reality nobody actually calls me that, except for the odd email which starts, "Hi Woolly." Called the Woolly Badger because my surname is in fact Badger, and that is too good a stupid name to not use. Anyway, I am here in my craft cave, which I would spin around and show you, but it is in desperate need of a tidy, and I am desperately lazy, so I don't think that will happen anytime soon. But I was going to show you a few things I've been working on, a few like upcoming works in progress, all sorts of bits and pieces. Might also just lift you up briefly to show you, bit of my yarn stash there. So I'm going to start off by talking about this, which is the Rocking Reindeer Richard sweater. I seem to have decided that all of my patterns are going to have human names from now on. I'm not sure how that's happened. I think it started with the Colin You Flatter Me tea, when I asked my 5-year-old what I should call it, and he said Colin, because he calls everything Colin. Fair enough. Anyway, Rocking Reindeer Richard. I like to think of this reindeer right here as Richard, the reindeer. It came out end of September, start of October. It's been out a week or so. And it is quite obviously, I would hope, a Christmas sweater. So you've got your Richard and his little buddies, and you've got Christmas trees and little festive things there. It is a circular yoke sweater. It is all over colourwork, and I knitted it last year with absolutely zero intention of releasing the pattern. I just wanted a very nice Christmas jumper. Yeah. So I have knitted it in Law from the Fibre Company, and if I show you a little bit closer up, I wore this all December last year. Still brilliant. Anyway, Law, if you don't know, is a DK weight yarn, so that means that this does knit up surprisingly quickly. I forgot to say something important about Richard. He is graded, and yes, he's a he, this reindeer here, he is graded in 9 sizes up to a 62-inch chest, as in body measurement. I did use the women's size chart, a women's size chart, to do the grading, but the classic fit of this jumper is like just it's a standard circular yoke. You could absolutely knit it for any and all gender that wanted one. I think my husband might be in the market for one, but he is 6'4", and just the amount of knitting it takes to knit something long enough for him, like, oh man, maybe he'll get one for Christmas next year. Yeah, it also does have an optional bust adjustment, which sort of redistributes the stitches, because a well-known bugbear of mine is things that don't fit your boobs properly. Shall we move on to some other things? I found this the other day. It's a big Jimmy Jab, which was a design I released in the spring, I think. I have no memory of time anymore. And yes, it clearly is missing an arm, but otherwise done. I just wanted to mention this because I did a blog a little while ago talking about how you can actually muck around with the different yarn weights so long as you hit gauge. So if a jumper says it wants a DK, in theory, yeah, a DK is probably going to work, but you could go rogue. You could do an Aran, and you would get a denser jumper. You could do a sport or even a 4-ply, and you would get a sort of looser fabric. You just have to make sure that you're always hitting the gauge that the pattern asks for. And that's what I've done here. I went a bit rogue. One of my very, very favourite yarns is Kambgarn, which is a Lopi yarn. It's their sport weight, and it comes in an insane number of colours. It's really lovely, and I know Lopi yarns are sort of known as being quite hardy, but Kambgarn is actually really soft, like so soft that I'm planning to use it to knit jumpers for my boys in it, and they like to complain about things being itchy. Anyway, I wanted to use Kambgarn for this, but I also wanted, basically I got seduced by some mohair. So this is white Kambgarn with a strand of, I think this is Tynn silk mohair. Yes, it is lovely. I'm really enjoying the sort of like vintage denim look of it. I will have to be slightly careful which pair of jeans I wear with it so that I don't look like I am double denim. Double denim. There we go. But I should probably finish it. And this here, this is one of my absolute favourite cheats for colourwork. This is not, I mean, this is cheats colourwork anyway. It's you knit stripes and slip some stitches, like that's the easiest thing in the world. But this is not lots of different yarns. It is one yarn. It is In the Mood Surprise by Kremke. I don't have any more of this colour. I do have a few more sitting in my stash. So this is one that I've got here. It's a insanely soft merino kind of, if you look there, oh, it's got that lovely spin on it, and it changes colour as it goes through. It does all the work for you. It is magnificent. I have this one, and I do have another one somewhere. I've got some more. Oh, look, here we go. Good autumnal one. I think I got these from Wool in Bath a while ago, and they are just sort of sitting, waiting for me to use them. This one in particular is just sort of really shouting at me now, going, knit something. They also have lovely names. This one's called Cheerfulness. This one is Curiosity. I cannot remember what the one in the Jimmy Jab was, but it also had a nice name. But yes, I didn't mean to talk about them. I've talked about them. There we go. In terms of stash knitting as well, because obviously I've got quite a lot behind me here, and I am trying to make my way through it slowly. I decided the other week that I needed to knit a novice cardigan by Petite Knit, which is a circular yoked cardi. This is, or it is, it looks rubbish because I am for some reason knitting it on a far too short circular needle, but it's a pattern that I recommend a lot and that gets used a lot at my sweater school classes at No Frills Knitting, and I thought, well, do you know what, I have never actually knitted it. I probably should. That might help. And I remembered this yarn here. So I'm just sort of disappearing behind you now, which was Truly Hooked. Verity did a sweater club, which I think was earlier this year, which this was the yarn that came with that. I was a very big fan of Sweater Club. It lets you spread the cost of a sweater quantity of yarn over a few months, and you can select what you want. You can select weight and all of that sort of stuff. Then if you're me, you forget what you've asked for, and then you get a box that's a nice surprise. And yes, this was my lovely surprise. So I had said I needed a like plain neutral sweater cardigan, but I'm not so good with the neutrals. This is like the perfect mix. I don't know if Verity is going to be running Sweater Club again, but if she does, do it. This was the skein as it came. So pretty. Another stash project that I'm planning to do is the Semper sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl, Sophie, which came out last week, I think. Anyway, it is a DK weight sweater, but yet again, I am going to be doing my using the wrong yarn weight thing. Yeah, this is one of the yarns. I'll show you them properly in a minute. I know that my tension is a lot looser than Sophie's tension tends to be. So the Semper sweater, I will try and put a little picture of it up somewhere. But it is 21 stitches on 4.5mm needles. I tend to get about 20 stitches on 4mm with the DK. So I thought, well, if I go for a sport weight on a 4mm needle, I will probably come out at 21. I need to swatch to make sure. Always swatch before you start a project, guys. Do as I say, not as I do. I don't swatch. I have come a cropper for it a few times recently. But I have this beautiful La Bien-Aimée fade, which is the Merino Sport base. So grey through to yellow. The colours are Parchment, Grello, and Yellow Brick Road Graffiti. I think the graffiti is probably because it's got some speckles in it. Anyway, the Semper sweater is like the perfect lightweight raglan sweater. Really good chuck it on with jeans sort of thing. So my plan for later is to wind these up into cakes and start casting that on. I have a little bit less than the pattern calls for, so I will probably 3/4 sleeves it. I don't tend to wear super long sleeves anyway, because I have no idea why. I have no idea why. I just don't. Maybe I'm too lazy to knit the sleeves, but that is a project in the works. So to complete my trio of projects that are not using the yarn weight you are meant to use for them, I, a few weeks ago, got started with an Aran weight Summerdown top. For those of you who don't know it, the Summerdown top is a top I released last year. It is in its original form a sort of nice summer evening-y, spring, autumn top. I've decided to knit one in Aran weight, and this is what it currently looks like, which is a bit weird. The construction is a bit different. You knit the lace bands, which sit on the tops of the sleeves, and then you knit down from there. So you pick up, this is the back, I will then pick up the front and knit down, and it has like batwingy type sleeves. Anyway, the reason I decided to do one in Aran weight is because the gauge for the Summerdown is 16 stitches to 10 centimeters on 5.5 needles. That's a really good Aran gauge. I wanted it to be quite loose and drapey, the original version, but actually I decided this time that I wanted to have a warmer one. So that is what I am doing here. I've also gone in for the contrast lace on the sleeves. I've seen a few projects on Ravelry that have done that, and it just looked so lovely that I had to basically steal the idea. This one is a little bit stalled at the moment because I got very distracted, as often happens. What you will learn as this podcast goes on is I have a terrible attention span and just flip between projects. But I'm knitting this in Woolly Knits British Aran. This colour is Mallard. It is an amazing colour. And like all Woolly Knits yarns, this is like super affordable. I can't remember exactly what it cost me, but it was not a huge amount, and it is obviously 100% wool and lovely. Once I get back to it, this will knit up pretty quickly. I should have brought up my finished one to show you, but alas, I am a fool. I will again try and do a photo. Thingy on there. More reasons I'm a fool. And more Aran weight, actually. We have here my newest nemesis. Now, I love this jumper. It needs a name. It obviously needs a human name. I have not even begun to think of one for it yet. I knitted this back in the spring, and I think this one is knitted in, I can't even remember what it's knitted in. I will put it in the comments. But I went totally rogue on this. I did not swatch, I did not plan, I did not do anything. Normally, at the very least, what I will do before I cast on a design is I will set up my grading spreadsheet, and I will work out all the maths and things for my sample size and all the E's and everything like that, and then I will cast on. This, I just started. As a result, I have absolutely no notes for it. None at all. I went back through my stitch dictionary last night to at least find the motifs I've used. They're on front and back. Other than that, it's a mystery. I know that it's knitted bottom up. I know it's drop shouldered. I know it's Aran weight. I'm not entirely sure what needle size I used. I'm not entirely sure of anything. I will have to literally sit down and count the stitches, because like, it's a nice pattern. It needs to be written up, and more specifically it needs to be knitted up in this. This is Isle by World of Wool. It is a Shetland and Blue Face Leicester yarn. Again, an Aran weight. It will be lovely. I do need, I said earlier about needing a sort of neutral coloured thing. I think a neutral coloured cabled jumper that I can chuck on over the top of the summer dresses that I refuse to admit it's too cold for would be perfect. But I'm going to have to do so much work first. I'm going to have to do so much work. It will be worth it, but it will be irritating. Yeah, that's that. Another one I had to completely reverse engineer is the opposite. It is the opposite of a neutral coloured thing. Is this. It is my Mohair Cardigan. It's another drop sleeve. It has the arm frills. It has cuff frills. It has an intarsia button band along here and a very deep V neckline. I'm shuffling back so you can see a bit more. And it's quite oversized and boxy. It's got like 10 inches of positive ease. So I haven't put a bust adjustment in this one, which I do in a lot of my patterns, because there's no point with a bust adjustment when you're in that much ease. It is knitted in double strand mohair, so 2 strands held together, and it basically came into existence because I couldn't decide what colour to use, so I've used all of them. It's currently called Mikey the Mohair King, or Mikey Mo for short. I don't really know why. I think that was Meg at No Frills came up with that. And I'm going to write it up with various options. So you can do it without the frill, without the frills. You can do it with tapered sleeves. These are little balloon sleeves. I can't remember what else I was going to put on there as an option. Oh, it's going to be mix and match sizing, armhole and body, so that you can get the fit you want. And hopefully the less call for this will be going up in the next week or two. I have done all the grading. I have written the outline of the pattern. I just need to get the two to meet. So if you want to be in with first dibs at testing this, then you want to get on my mailing list. Sorry, I just can't stop stroking it. It's so soft. So soft. Yes, on my mailing list I will put the link in the caption. Yes, double strand mohair on 3.75 needles, 22 stitches to 10 centimeters. So you could also use, you know, a 4-ply and a mohair, or you could use a DK even if you wanted to, because I know that double mohair held together, it can get a bit costly. All of my tests, I'm always happy for people to use whatever yarn they want. And I think that is about what I have to show you, except for one final request. I am looking to crowdsource some help, because in searching through my stash, I have found an amazing combination of 3. So we have at one end this from Old Maiden Aunt Yarns. It is 100% merino 4-ply in the jaded colourway. It is the most incredible green. In the middle of that, Fibre Fox Summer Breeze, which has bits of the green, bits of the yellow. And then this one has been in my stash for a while. They have now rebranded as Bird Street Yarn, but this was back in the day when it was Mr. B's yarn, old number 7. Look at them. They need to become something. I don't know what they need to become. I don't really need any more giant shawls. So if you have a suggestion that isn't a giant shawl, please let me know. In the meantime, I will just be sat here staring at them whilst cursing myself for never making any notes. But yes, thank you for watching. I'm going to go have a fight with my computer now and see if I can work out how to edit this. If you have any questions, let me know below. I believe the done thing on YouTube is to say like and subscribe, but I'm a geriatric millennial. Like, YouTube is not my natural stomping ground, except for videos of people falling over and funny cats. That's what I go to YouTube for. But anyway, yeah, I will put all my links for mailing list and all of that stuff below, and yes, hopefully I will see you soon. Thanks.